What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Type Life podcast, back again with another episode of Let's Get to Know Our Nail Tech. I'm your host, Min Tai. Today, I have a very special guest. I was so excited that I got to get her onto this podcast. It's because a couple months ago, I got to meet her in Orlando with Not Polished team. We sat on a dinner table together and we had a little conversation, and I knew something was special about this nail tech. She's not just your ordinary nail tech. So as I start following her page, I come to realize she's like an educator, influencer, celebrity nail tech, and now she has her own book of how to guide you to become a better nail technician. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Marie Perez. How are you?
Hey everybody. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I feel really rested. This weekend was really hectic in Los Angeles. I got to see my star client Blac Chyna perform on stage live, and I did not know that there was going to be a whole production for the dancers and getting their hair and makeup and nails done. So I got to drive the boat a little bit and help the nail techs on the scene get done with the dancers. But whenever you're in LA, you get very little sleep. And so when I come home, the 2 days when I come home post events, it's a moment for me to catch up on my sleep, recuperate from the sleep lost. But as an entrepreneur, the grind never stops. I actually had meetings back to back when I got home. I had a couple proposals to make. And so last night was actually the first good sleep I had in a whole week.
I'm telling y'all, she is a busy nail tech. But before we get into like the deep end of Maria's life as a nail technician and how she grew into this awesome journey of hers, we would love to get to know a little history about where did you start as a nail tech and really what got you into doing nails.
Yeah. I started as a nail tech in 2016. So I was 17, living on my own. So a little backstory to catch y'all up to where I was when I started doing nails. I got kicked out when I was 14 years old by my stepdad. And I don't think he realized that I was actually going to get up and go. Neither did my mother. But I was fed up with cycles and toxicity. And I was like, it's time. So when that moment happened, I grabbed all my stuff and I left. And so fast forward, I had to, fend for myself. Shout out to Michelle because she's my best friend at the time. This was her mom, and she took me in for about a year and a half and was able to help me get on my feet. I enrolled myself into school. I got accepted into a collegiate high school. So much happened in that time frame from the time I was 14 to the time I was 17, going on 18 when I started doing nails. So where I was in 2016 was I was so used to working. I had worked at Waterburg, I worked at Brahms, I worked at the dry cleaners. I also worked in Mexico selling shoes, selling backpacks when I was 11. So fast forward, where I was is I had my trailer home. This was the first house that I was renting for myself. Me and my boyfriend were together living. We made sure all the bills were paid. And around the time, I had five college classes. I had history one. I had what math? Oh, accounting. I had English one. I had anatomy and physiology, and I forgot the other kinesiology. And so there was all these classes, all this weight, and I had no sleep. I was literally waking up, getting to school, right after school, go straight to Whataburger, working overnight, getting back home, working on papers, working on homework, sleeping 2 hours, getting up, going to school, sleeping in between classes, and over and over. And so during this time, my boyfriend was like, "Hey, like I see how much you're doing. Let me take care of you and you just worry about school." I was like, okay. It was very hard for me to do that because I was raised to like make my money for myself. And so I trust this man. I feel safe with this man. I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do it. But about 2 to 3 months into it, I felt so weird not working. Like I was like, we need two incomes. Like we will get to our goals faster because he's a businessman in himself. I have aspirations of just making it out, right? uh, Building wealth, a good life for myself. So I just had a vision. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew that I wanted to do better, always do better. And so I was like, okay. When I was in school, I went to TCC here in Arlington, Tarrant County College, and I looked to my left, I looked to my right. Everybody like everybody looks like they know what they're doing. Everybody feels like they all have a sense of direction of where they're going in their life. And I felt like I didn't. Like little old me was just there, like, what am I meant to do? What am I supposed to be doing? Because this school stuff is cool, but at the same time, I do have aspirations to be a business, like be in business, whether it be a business owner or something. And so I just in this time I asked God, I said, Lord, please guide me to what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what it is, but please don't let me walk this earth without purpose. And prayer after prayer, day after day, I did just that. It was one of the things that I just integrated into my prayers. And then one day I made friends with this girl, and I had went to her apartment one time to hang out, and she has a whole like nail station in her apartment. And this someone knocks on the door and she opens it and she's like, "Girl, I completely forgot I had an appointment right now." So I'm like, "It's cool. I'll be right. I can wait right here on the couch." So in this whole hour and a half, I see her just whip up a full set, shaping, laying the acrylic, doing everything, and I'm like, I'm really intrigued at the process. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And so that was it. We hung out. I went home. And then within the next week, Instagram was fairly new. So I started like on the explore page and I kept seeing nails pop up, like the short Russian nails, intricate designs. And I was like, how do they do that? Because me just seeing my friend do acrylics and then seeing this crazy art, I'm like really intrigued because I've always been creative. And so I don't know, something just told me, what does it take to do nails? Like, how do you do a full set? And so I went to YouTube University because I'm an avid learner. I love to learn. And so I went to YouTube. I was like, how to do a full set. And I started looking through videos. I went to Google, what do I need to do a full set? And around this time, February, April, I get an income tax check of like $250. And so I'm like, okay, can I buy an acrylic set or like all the stuff I need to do acrylics with this money? And I did. So April 8th of 2016 comes around. My kit comes in the mail. My friend comes over with a complete stranger. It's her friend. And my friend was like, girl, you're not touching my nails. Like, you're just getting started. Ain't no way. But then her friend was like, you can practice on me. And I was like, a complete stranger. I had no idea who she was. So my nerves were going kind of crazy. But I was really excited to open this package. And so I opened the package, I got my setup going. I did this first full set I ever did. And I was really, really happy with the results. I look back on it now, I'm like, girl, you crazy. But during that era, I was just really proud that I did a full set after studying all this information. And it was from that moment forward that I was like, oh yeah, I'm coming for the game. It's over for you hoes.
Wow, what a very inspirational stories. And I mean, with this personality that you have going on, so energetic. I mean, was this always been you, or was this developed through the process of doing nails?
It was definitely developed through the process of now. You know, that's such a good question, man, because during the time when I first started doing nails, I was completely a different person. I mean, not at my core. At my core, I've always been caring. I've always been loving. I love hard. But when I get hurt, I go in a circle and I cut everybody off. So when I first started, I was very quiet, very to myself. I couldn't keep a conversation going. So a lot of my character, it's been developed through the process of healing myself from childhood trauma, from sexual abuse, from a broken family. And a lot of my character was built through my clients. Like I started very young. So my clients were kind of like that woman figure for me. If I had certain questions, I asked my client and they just kind of guide me in the direction. Doing business shaped my character. You know, having to take risk, having to confront certain problems. You can't run from problems in business. You have to face them head on. And then meeting other business owners in the industry, like yourself, like being around other influencers, being around other content creators. My celebrity client, specifically Blac Chyna, she's like my sister. I learned so much just by being in the environment and observing everything around me. So my personality, my energy definitely developed over time. And for a moment there, I had no identity. And so I even went through, I don't want to jump very fast, but when I first went to California, I went through pretty much an identity crisis. I didn't know, I lost myself again. to the point where I sold all my nail stuff and I decided to be homeless. I decided to backpack across the world, go to Europe, and just live a day to day. That's how lost I was at one point. And this was like 2018. I disappeared off of social media. I already had like 40,000 followers on Instagram. I had my followers on Facebook. And I just literally deactivated everything. Even my Instagram deleted permanently because I was gone more than 14 days.
Wow.
So everything I am who I am today definitely got built throughout time. And one of the biggest moments was in 2018 when I was in California. I knew nobody, I had no nail supply, and I had to start from ground zero.
So, you brought up a good point that being in the nail industry really grooms our personality. I was never this talkative. I was never this outgoing until I started doing nails also. And you're right. Your clients will literally take you in and they will make you a better person one way or another. And that's a very powerful statement. So when you mentioned you were in California, you had to start over in 2018. Who was the person that kind of gave you that lift to know that it is time to start over and you can do it better?
Um, God was. I had Pete by my side, which is my husband now. We weren't married at the time, but he was by my side. But we were both in the same rabbit hole of like, F this world. Let's go backpack across the world. Capitalism isn't what everybody thinks, like it's just better to live without that stress. But I was out at the ocean because I love San Diego. That's where I was. I love ocean. I love mountains. I had never seen all that up until that year of 2017, 2018. So I knew I wanted to be by the ocean. Well, I went on a hike. I came back. It felt good. I sat in the back of the car and I'm just sitting there and I'm looking out the window. And just like this, like in a blink of an eye, God placed a thought in my brain. And He's like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Your purpose is through nails. You're supposed to be uplifting other people, not downplaying yourself. And so when I had that immediate thought in my brain, I started replaying everything and I started reflecting on it. I'm like, what does this mean? Because I'm nothing like my clients. And that's the reason I sold all my nail supply was because I didn't do my makeup. I wasn't with the glam. I didn't have the best clothes. I didn't have my license. I just wasn't everything that you think the beauty industry is. And so I was like, I don't fit here. So when God planted that seed in my brain, I'm like, what does that mean? And it was in that moment where I'm like, I'm supposed to reach people through nails. It's not even the nails themselves. The nails is the gateway to reaching people. I started reflecting on how many powerful conversations I had with my clients, how many powerful conversations I had with aspiring nail techs that looked to me for what's next, or how do I do this? What products do you use for this? And it all made sense in that point. On that day, it made sense. I was like, okay, it's not about fitting in this world. It's about the impact that you make on in the people in it, with the people in it. And so I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Well, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta come in swinging with the best product. I need to get my license. I just need to get my shit together with business. I can't operate how I was operating in Texas with no license out my house. That was long gone. I'm in California. It's another state. It's a different game. And so in that day, I turned to Pete. I was like, I'm gonna start doing nails again. I'm coming back. And he's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. He's like, let's do it. So just him saying, let's do it, that's all I needed. Like, okay, let's do it. And so immediately he's like, well, if we're going to do this, we got to enroll into a shelter. We got to get jobs because we got no money. And so we did just that. Shout out to Alpha Project in San Diego. That's where we enrolled into that homeless shelter. And I got a job at Walmart. He got a job at Jack in the Box. And within the time frame of being there at the shelter, maybe like 3 to 6 months, I made connections. I made money. I was a greeter at the door at Walmart, and every check we got, we invested into a nail supply. So at the top of my bunk in the homeless shelter, I had a little corner on my bunk bed that had all my nail supply right there. And there was an Asian guy that worked at the homeless shelter. I'm always big on talking about my goals. So I remember telling a girl named Brianna at the shelter what I was doing or where my goals were, because they're like, "What are you doing here? Like, you don't look like you belong here." Because there's a variety of people at the homeless shelters, but most of the time they tend to go towards people either waiting on housing or drug addicts or alcoholics. And so I had the girl ask me, like, "What are you doing here? Like, why are you here?" And so I told her everything that happened, and I told her where my journey was going, and she's like, "Hold on, I got to tell my friend." So she told Tran, and Tran's like, "You know what? I'm gonna take you to the nail supply store tomorrow," because his people had a nail supply store. And so I remember that time. It was the first day that I had ever tried pho, and I went to a nail supply store, and him just buying my brush and a couple powders meant everything to me. I was like, "That's so cool. You didn't have to do that, you know." And his people were like, "Don't even worry about it." Like, he was gonna pay for it, but he was like, "Don't worry about it." Like, so they gave me the product, and I was like, "This is so cool." So from that moment forward, I collected a couple more checks from Walmart, and then it was time for me to start doing traveling services. Like, I was already ready for the next thing, and this is how great God is. So you never meet people for no reason. You never meet people for no reason. When I was at Walmart working, there was this older Filipina lady, and she was so sweet. We were working in the same area that day. Again, I'm really big on talking about what I'm going to do until I do it. And so I was telling her about my goals. I was like, "Marianne, I'm going to leave soon. I'm going to quit. I already have most of my stuff to do nails, but now I just need to get into nail school and I need a place to do nails." And then she's like, "Have you tried working at a salon?" I was like, "I can't because I don't have my license." And so she's like, "Oh, here, get my daughter's number. She'll let you do nails there." And I'm just like, "I don't think so because I don't have my license." She's like, "No, you call her and you tell her that her mom said that you can do nails there." So I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I wasn't gonna do it, but then I'm like, "No, like, at this point, I'm taking any risk and making any call that I have to make." So here I go. I call Casey and I call her and it's like, "Hey, your mom gave me your phone number. I'm a nail tech looking for a space to do nails." And she's like, "Hey, can you meet today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can meet today after work." So I pull up. Mind you, during this time I have short hair, probably about your length, man. I had
Wow.
cut off all my hair. So I pull up to the shop and I tell her, I just enrolled into school. I'm starting in January, but I need a place to do my clients for now. And so she ended up being from Texas and I'm from Texas. And so she's just like, F it, let's try it. She charged me $100 a week. And so from there, I started school, I started doing clients. And yeah, that's that section. And mind you, one more thing. I stayed in the homeless shelter probably for like another 2 weeks after that, until me and Pete decided to sleep in our van because we were tired of being away from each other in the homeless shelter. So we slept in our Honda Odyssey for about 3 weeks to a month. And we had our gym membership to 24-hour fitness. So we showered there. We did everything we had to. It forced us to work out. And then within that month, we ended up purchasing a van, like a van life van. So if you go to TikTok and type in van life, our van was decked out just like that. It had hardwood
Wow.
floor, a bed, a sink, and nobody knew. Nobody knew what we were going through and what we were doing during that season.
Wow. Man, you just giving me all this chill just hearing about your journey. I mean, the homeless, the shelter, and God is good. I mean, God will put you in the right position at the right time when it is your
Yes,
time. I'm such a big believer in
absolutely.
that. And what you mentioned also in your story was like, keep talking about your dream, keep talking about your goals. I mean, I do that all the time, even though I don't know when my main ultimate goal is going to get there, but I keep talking about it. And you're right. When you keep talking about it, your action's going to speak to it.
Yes. The universe starts making changes for you,
Yeah,
not to you.
it is so amazing.
And that's one of the biggest.
So from there, you got yourself a van. Your man is so supportive in you, and that is the power
Yes.
of the support between two significant other that we need this generation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when did you start realizing like, okay, now it's working out. I'm coming back in the game. When do you start stepping up the game in terms of like, I'm gonna start charging upping my price, because price was the hard part about any nail tech,
Yeah,
to go in and break
for
that
sure.
barrier. That's one. And then how do you get your name
Hmm.
out there to be like, from living in the shelter to Marie Perez?
So these are a lot of good questions. And the fact that you pointed out Pete's support, his support has always been there. Like he's literally a man of like standing behind you and getting your goals done. If I tell him I want to do something, he's like doing the logistics of how we're gonna get. And so during this time, he put his money that he was working from Jack in the Box into my nail craft. I got my nail polish powders. I got my Manny Pro from Koopa. I got a lot of stuff, right? And he was right there ready to invest with me. He invested a lot of his savings into the van, so we had the van to live at. And so when it comes, let me say this, we always knew we were going to be lit. Like from the moment we walked in the homeless shelter, we didn't have the mindset of like, oh, this is the worst time of my life, like I don't know what I'm going to do, we're victims. No, like from day one we know who we are. We know that we're hustlers. We know that we grind, we can make money when we want. And so we already had the goal of everywhere we're going. That's why I have pictures, I have videos of me at the homeless shelter, of me in my van, of me outside, because I knew I was going to use this as a testimony later. So when we get the place to do nails at, me and Pete look at each other and we're like, it's on, it's popping now, because we know that I just have to get to doing nails. Once I get the hand file in my hand, I can make money. And so during this time, Pete tries to reactivate my Instagram and my Facebook, and we're like, I lost 40,000 followers. Like it deleted my Instagram because I was inactive for so long. So we're like, it's okay. We're gonna start from ground zero. And so what a lot of people don't know, a lot of people always have questions like, what does Pete do? Like, what does he do? And this was early in my career. Well, he's the person behind my marketing on social media, the storytelling on social media. Pete's a songwriter. He's a musician himself. So he was able to take my pain, everything I endured, and put it into words. Or he'll tell me, hey, it's time to film this. Just say this and talk about how you felt during this. So he's always been a manager on my social media. And so what his job was to get me the clients. I did the nails, but he did the work of getting me the clients. So he messaged random people on Instagram. He followed people on Instagram all day from San Diego to areas around. He told me, he's like, okay, we're gonna put $100 towards marketing every single week. And I'm like, $100? Like, no. And he's like trying to explain it to me, like, no, we need a budget for marketing. It's like music. People will put so much money into studio time, into songwriting, and their budget is $0. That's why they don't blow up. The biggest music record labels, the biggest money budget goes to marketing, because that's what's going to get you off the ground. I'm like, okay, cool. So I let him do whatever it is that he does. And all of a sudden, I seen every $100 he was putting into marketing on social media, I was getting 2 to 3 clients.
Wow.
And so I was making the money right back. And I'm like, okay, this is working. All right. So now here I am. Like, can we put $200 behind marketing? So it was just like I was ready. I seen the business side of it. And so leading to the next question of like, how did I start like recognizing my price and charging what I'm supposed to be worth? It was very hard for me because that's where a lot of imposter syndrome would come in, because I'm like, I'm homeless. I'm sleeping in my van, bro. And how am I supposed to charge girls 75 and up, 85 and up? But Pete was always that, like, bringing me back down to earth of just like, hey, relax. Like the van life and this lifestyle, although most of the society looks down on it, that doesn't interfere with your skill set. Like you're the hottest nail tech in San Diego right now. Nobody's doing the bling, nobody's doing the glitter, everybody's doing nude colors, and you're the only person in the city that can do that. So he was always right there to kind of like
Hype you up.
bring me back and center me, hype me up. And so when that happened, he's like, okay, it's time. You're starting school in January. What we're going to do is we're going to position your brand properly. You're not going to say, hey, everybody, I'm not doing nails anymore for part time because I'm going to school. No. What we're going to do is we're going to say your bookings are closed because you're that booked, because you're that girl, that your books are going to be closed till further notice. I'm like, okay, I didn't think about that. And so from that time forward, I had a lot of questions of like, okay, I'm gonna be in school for 4 to 5 months. What am I gonna do during this time? And I was like, okay, it's cool. You know what? Like, because I had already read the Milady books. Although I didn't have my license, I'm an avid learner. So I always read, and I had read the Milady books. I already did my disinfection, everything. But I didn't look at it like I wasn't going to learn nothing. I was like, I know that I'm going to at least one thing, you know? And it ended up being like five things that I learned, more reading that I did. But, anyways, we did that. We closed my books. When I closed my books, I have so many DMs now of girls trying to get in with me because they look at me like it's like FOMO, the fear of missing out. And these girls are like, I missed out. So Pete started a whole wait list and he got their contact information. So when I did start doing else, he would hit them up. Now, back to school, a lot of people, someone just asked me this powerful question yesterday when I was teaching this full set on a Zoom yesterday. And she's like, when you went to manicure school, did it feel like a step back? Like you were stepping back in your career instead of stepping forward? Because I was already doing nails for 2 years. And I was like, you know what? That's a good question because a part of me wanted to feel like it was a step back. But me and Pete, our visions were so big that I was like, no, it actually was the time I needed to step back so I can step forward. So all the extra time that I had in manicure school, I have the book somewhere around here a minute and I could show you. I was writing down, planning out my online courses,
Wow.
my virtual beginner course, my subscription that I wanted to start, and I have it. Like I low key want to find it just for this interview, but I had a whole statement of what my goals were with my online course. And so during the time that I was in school, I was building out my online course. And this was, mind you, man, this was in 2018 when nobody was paying for live streams. Nobody had virtual courses for nails. Nobody. Like, it was so innovative because I was like, how do me going to school, right? And seeing how some people go to school online, I was like, why can't nail techs open up their laptop and learn how to do nails? And what got me in that mode was that I had so many people I wanted to take classes from, and I couldn't because they were either so far or it was so much I didn't have. I didn't have the extra 900 to 1,500 that most nail techs cost. Now, I will say shout out to Nails by Yvonne because I did save up my coin to go take her class in 2018. And I drove from San Diego to San Jose to go take her course. So in this mind, I'm like, in school, I'm focused on online courses. I'm focused on developing. I'm focused on marketing, and I'm focused on just doing the nails, keeping my head down and doing what I'm supposed to do.
Wow. First of all, shout out to Pete. I mean, he is an amazing guy. Just the way you're telling me how he thinks and how he's such a big supporter in your career path. And that's amazing. And yeah, that
Yeah.
was a good strategy that, yeah, sometimes that telling people that you're overbooked plays a big FOMO in their feel like, oh, I got to book with this girl. Like, there's a reason why she is overbooked. So that is
Right.
really awesome. And really another thing that you brought up is just the school. Everybody thinking like school is a waste of time, but you are truly an entrepreneur. You were making yourself useful while you were in school of trying to develop something that is not out yet. That's so amazing. And I can see why your career just takes off so fast. Now let's talk about something that I'm sure you get questions all the time is celebrity nail techs. I mean, that sounds so cool. That sounds so fun and so bougie. I mean, what is it like that feeling of like, wow, I'm actually doing a celebrity nail tech for a first time. What was that feeling like? Do you still remember it?
I do. I do. I remember it like yesterday because in the moment, I'm like closing my eyes and I'm like, soak up this feeling. Like, this feeling's here, it's real. So, the coolest thing was that I landed my first big celebrity, which was Angela White, known as Blac Chyna, the last month of my manicure school. I wasn't even out of school yet. And I landed my first opportunity. Mind you, I live in San Diego. She's all the way in Los Angeles. And it was because during this time, Pete changed my bio because we always knew we're working towards celebrity clients. That's our goal. So he changed my bio to being in Los Angeles instead of San Diego. And during this time, one of my clients, I dragged one of my clients with me to manicure school, by the way, because she was like, I'm tired of the life I'm living. And I'm like, girl, didn't you do nails when you were 16? Like, start doing nails again. There's so much money. The money's lucrative in the nail business. And so she comes with me, right? And so she approached me one day and she's like, hey, my client Lexi wants to get in with you. She sees your books are closed and she just wants them done for her nails. And so I get her, I'm like, cool, I'll get her nails in. Anyways, fast forward, Lexi ended up knowing Blac Chyna. So through a FaceTime call, I pitched myself to Blac Chyna. And next thing you know, I'm driving to Los Angeles to go do her nails. So it's 9:24 at nighttime. And I pull up to her house and I'm like, I'm like nervous the whole way there, like really nervous. But I don't know. It was like flipping the switch. Like I got off, I got Pete helped me carry my stuff inside. And as soon as I walked into her house and I seen her, it was kind of just like, boom, let's work. Like I was just my goal there was just to serve and was to provide the best nail set experience that I could because that's how you get the call back. I wasn't focused on getting a picture. I wasn't focused on any of that clout stuff people be doing. Like, this is another client. She's requesting my service. Now, how can I make her call me back? But the feeling was surreal. Like, as I was looking at the outside of her house, it's like chills go through my body because it's like your manifestations right in front of you. What you said that you were gonna do, it's happening. It's unfolding right in front of me. So the feeling is like I can't even explain it. It's kind of like when you fast. If you fast for like 2 or 3 days, that moment of clarity that you get, that moment of like out of this world, that's how it felt for me doing my first celebrity.
Wow.
And it is. It's an amazing lifestyle. And it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But there's so much opportunity there. I love it. Like I thrive. I thrive in the celebrity lifestyle. When I'm on set, when I'm working with celebrity clients, when I'm serving groups of people, I'm like, yo, I can do this all night. I can do this all night.
Wow. And then are you guys like good friends now? Are you and Black China are just like, hey, I need my nails done, kind of like that?
Yes, absolutely. I just went to go see her this week. And it's so crazy because I'm there with her and we're on the way to rehearsals for her show. And I go on my Facebook. I just open up my Facebook app and I get a notification of like 6 years ago today. And I was with
Wow.
China. I had just did a full set for like one of the photo shoots she does. I'm like, China, look, it's been 6 years, 6 years of working together. And she's like my big sister. She
That's
sees me the same
awesome.
little sister because, and she just told me like right now, she's like, you're such a businesswoman and many people aren't. If it's one thing that you did since I met you is do everything you say you're going to do. And so, like, even from the first time I met her, the reason we kicked it off so much is because I was real. She asked me for the invoice, and I was like, no. I was like, I don't want to charge you. I was like, just call me back and I will be here. I
Ooh.
told her, I was like, I'm in school to get my license. I'm trying to get my license and be out here in LA full time. And she was like, all right, all right. 8 days later, she calls me. And every 8 to 10 days after that, it
Wow.
was like clockwork with her.
And then through her
Yeah.
connection, did you end up like getting more clients from her friends and her people that she knows?
Yes, yes. She put me in positions, she put me in rooms. She put me in rooms and I was able to do the rest. So like it got to a point when I would go over to do her nails. As I'm blinging her nails, she'll start FaceTiming people and like Marie's here, Marie's here. And so I got to
Wow.
work with stars from Love and Hip Hop. I got to work with Bad Baby. I got to do my first $100 male manicure. I um I got opportunities to be on a cover of a magazine for doing her nails. So she would landed the cover and my nails are right there. And a lot of people during the season knew me as Blac Chyna's nail tech. Blac Chyna's nail tech, Blac Chyna's nail tech. And that's how we blew. That's how we started, you know. People started knowing us as that duo. Like, oh, every time they do nails, they're crazy.
Wow.
And so from there, I was actually at China's house when I landed the opportunity to work with Cardi B. I was setting up, it was probably like day 2 or day 3 of me being at her house. I had already finished her full set and the bling. And I was setting up for her pedicure. And I was just networking, man. Like, there's never a room I go in where I don't talk to everybody in that room. And so I was in a room with a makeup artist and we just started chatting. And he's like, who's your top five? And I named a few people, and Cardi B was one of them. And he was just like, he's like, you cool. He's like, you cool as fuck. Let me plug you in real quick. And so he put me in a group chat with Tokyo Styles, which is Cardi B's hairstylist.
Wow.
And real quick, before I even get into that, let me tell you how important it is to listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. During this time, I was no longer in my van. This is fast forward to a year, 2 years, right? Um, I was downtown San Diego living in a penthouse overlooking the shelter me and Pete were just at
Wow.
a year or two before. I moved my sisters from Texas to San Diego with me. So I have a 13-year-old living with me and I have an 8-year-old living with me. I was spending so much time in Los Angeles, man, that I felt like a bad sister. I was like, I feel like I'm not being present for them. This is why I moved them over here so I can be that sister for them. Not that I'm trying to fill the shoes of my mother, but I'm trying to be a good sister. And I felt like I was out of town so much, and Pete was holding down the fort, shipping orders because we did have products at some point, making sure email customer service was good, but I felt like I was just gone. And so I had just told Pete on the way to go walk at the ocean, I was like, I'm not going to Los Angeles today. I was like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm tired. Sometimes working with influencers isn't what it seems. They'll say that they're going to do a certain thing for you and it doesn't work out that way. And so I was just like, they could wait. So we go walk at the beach, we go walk at the ocean. I have my little sister Leah with me. And just like this, again, it's like a switch flipped. And it was like, no, you're going to Los Angeles. And I told Pete, I was like, babe, I'm actually going. And he's like, you just said you're not going. And I was like, yeah, but something's telling me that I have to go. I was like, you never know who I could work with. I could work with Nicki Minaj. I could work with Cardi B. Like, you never know. I don't even recall saying that last sentence. It wasn't until I was actually on my way to Cardi B's house that I called Pete. I'm like, bro, guess what I'm about to do? And he's like, who? And I said, I'm on the way to Cardi B's house. And he's like, babe, you literally just said that. You literally just said that you could do Cardi B's nails. I listened to my intuition. No matter how tired I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. And I went and I landed the opportunity to work with Cardi B.
Wow.
What would have happened if I didn't go that day, man?
You wouldn't be here?
I I wouldn't. And so they Tokyo texted me back and was like, hey, can you come tonight? And my thought process is like, okay, I'm gonna do Tokyo's nails, then I'm gonna do Erica, the makeup artist, and then hopefully Cardi B will recognize my work. Man, they forgot to book a nail tech, and every other nail tech didn't want to go because it was COVID.
Wow.
So literally me being in LA when everybody was at home landed me the opportunity. So when they texted me, I thought it was going to be for Tokyo. No, it was for Cardi. They
Wow.
sent me the NDA and I'm reading and I'm like, I was like, what does this mean? And it was like, we forgot to book a nail tech for Cardi. Can you come? I was like, yeah, I'm on the way. And I stayed there till like 4 in the morning, man. They asked me to come back the second day because Cardi was busy. So I started taking care of her family. I did manicure, I did pedicures, I did acrylic full set. Then not China, Cardi B came out. I did her fill in, I changed the color. And they were like, hey, can you come back tomorrow? We have more family. They're just sleeping. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come back tomorrow. So it's all started there. And after that was consistent 2 to 3 years of working with Cardi B. Through Cardi B, she's given me so much opportunity as well. She's such a real ass person. Like, she really takes care of her team. She took care of me. I worked Reebok with her, Facebook with her, Uber Eats with her, her whip shots. I worked 3 music videos, did the
Wow.
press on nails for all of them. I just had so much opportunity. She took me to New York for the first time. She took me to Atlanta for the first time. She took me to Vegas for the first time. Flights, everything.
Wow.
Like it was just like, have you ever heard the saying that when the money comes, it comes fast?
Yes, it does. And yes, I have.
That's the season I was in. Yeah.
Wow.
And I felt that. I experienced that. And so in my six-figure workshop that I just hosted and I'm about to host another one this weekend, I put the screenshots of the income and I showed them from 2018 to 2019 to 2020 to 2021 to 2022, how the income just 5x'd,
Wow.
just like this. 1 year from 150,000 to 450,000.
Wow.
And it's because I broke barriers that nobody thought could be done in the nail industry. Most people think you have to have a salon, you have to have a school to make big money. Yo, I did everything people didn't think of. I was looking for the niche in the market, and through my clients, through my online school, through my group classes, and I remember during this time, I was already doing Blac Chyna when I first met Mikey and Tao, and Mikey gave me the best advice. He's just like, do classes, Marie, do classes. And I even told him about the virtual course idea. He's like, no, don't focus on that. There's YouTube already. Just do the group classes. And I'm like, okay. I took advice. I always take advice with a grain of salt. And so I still did it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the nail classes. And before I even started with working with the biggest celebrities, I was doing group classes. And shout out to Not Polish because they've been a sponsor of me for so long. And they're the OGs in the business. I remember watching Mikey's lives, watching Tao's lives, and just picking up what I could. So during this time, I was doing client services, I was selling my courses online, I was doing group classes, selling products. Um, I want to say that's it. I kind of just broke the door in kind of every industry, kind of having went from having one stream of income to five.
That's amazing. I mean, what you did was unbelievable. I mean, not every nail tech thinks like you or have the guts to even do what you do, and not just that, but it's how you look at the situation. You didn't get hype about it. You stayed low key. You didn't want to charge Blac Chyna for her service because you knew
Yeah.
there was a bigger pond out there that you need to reach instead of this, where you at. Um, and you mentioned about doing before we move on to this question. I really wanted to ask you, how long does it usually take when you process these nails that you do on celebrities? Because I know sometimes it can be very blingy out, it can be outraged. I mean,
Yep.
how do you plan out your time in between of them moving around and doing their stuff while you still doing their nails?
Yeah. So I'm gonna drop some big gems for y'all. So if y'all are listening to men's podcast, y'all need to getting to know your nuts. Like, y'all need to hit the share. Y'all need to hit the follow button. Y'all need
Amen.
to let people know about this, okay? Because these are insights that nobody's gonna give you. So when it comes to working with celebrities, it no longer becomes charging just for the full set. It becomes charging for your time and your day, because the time it takes you to pack up your salon, come to their house, set up, do their nails, finish the nails, it's a lot of time. Like one house call in Los Angeles will take you about 6 to 8 hours just with the commute, with everything involved. When it comes to the nails, it all depends on what kind of set they want. My type of work, it'll probably take me about 3 hours. Sculpting, encapsulated, not too much bling, just like a little bit of bling. But if we're talking bling sets, some of my bling sets, they take, I think they take me anywhere from like 5 to 9 hours. Because what we'll do is we'll take breaks in between. We'll eat food. I'm about to put together a reel too, because right now when I was with Blac Chyna, it took me like 4 hours to finish her bling. And we ate like 3 times in between the whole process. So we were eating caramelized apples. And then we ate, oh no, we started with breakfast. We started with brunch. So like I had only did 3 bling nails. We were already eating. And then like 2 hours after that, I finished one hand and then we were eating caramelized apples. And then after that, we were eating Thai food. So it's just like with her, we drag it out. But I would say anywhere from 3 to 5 hours consistently If I'm sitting there, that's about how long it takes with China. Now, when it comes to Cardi B, I make press on nails. So with press on nails, they can go anywhere from 48 hours to 72 hours preparing them. Because I'll make
Wow.
like anywhere from 5 full sets to 8 full sets for one music video.
Wow. You were mentioning
Yeah, and there's a lot to consider. You
Oh, go ahead. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. So sorry.
No, no, no. I want to hear more.
And there's a lot to okay, yeah, there's a lot to consider. So I think one of the biggest reasons Cardi liked working with me and she likes calling me over is because I'll do the work for her. You know, she's first of all, she's such a businesswoman. She's amazing at what she does. And so I try to alleviate the stress on my clients. I'll go straight to the stylist and be like, what is she wearing?
Right.
You know, show me the paperwork, show me what the vision is for this,
And
and
you
I'll
do your
just do the
homework.
work from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I also noticed something that recently that I saw on your social media is that you released a book. And this book is to help guide
Yes.
nail technician to be better or be like Marie. So give us a little bit a glimpse of the book and how we can get the book and what was the process of creating this book for you?
Oh man. Okay. So my book, let me show y'all real quick. It's the Ultimate
I
Acrylic
love
Guidebook.
it.
Okay. It's a hardcover and it also has a dust jacket. So it's kind of like your bookmark while you're working through. And the hardcover has the cover of the book as well. And so I'm gonna show y'all a little bit before I tell y'all a little bit more about the details. So throughout the book, I have QR codes for you to scan, and it'll take you to my lessons on YouTube that only you can see if you have the book. I have step-by-step processes, including the nail experience, the client experience. I have things about the e-file if you're left-handed, if you're right-handed, and this is powerful information. And then I have natural nail, like working with the natural nail disinfection process. And so I made this book without even meaning to. Um, Throughout all the years that I've been teaching group classes, I'm I guess I was a teacher before I knew it. Because even when I was taking algebra, I would try to help people understand algebra. And like I remember one of my teachers telling me, like, you'll be a really good teacher. And I was just like, girl, no. And so fast forward, I'm in the nail industry. And remember that $100 that I was talking about? When I made my first $100, I was like, I have to share this. And that's where my classes came into play because people see how open I am and how open I am to sharing information. That all these girls kept asking me about getting started. What do they need? And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's start doing group classes. And so through doing my group classes, I started with stapled paper and just Google Docs. And I just started writing out the steps, the supplies, the prep, the step by step. And I actually started out drawing the diagrams in class to explain to the students structure, shaping tips. And so next thing you know, I had 3 pages, then I had 10 pages, then I had 20 pages. And like at this point, Pete sees like the girls loving the notes and he's like, babe, you should make it into a book. And I'm like, nah, I don't like that idea. He's like, no, you should, because we're at this point, we're spiraling the notes because that's how thick it got. And so he's like, no, for real, do it. He's like, I'll help you with it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm not a writer, you guys. Like, I don't write. I can teach, I can explain. So a lot of this was me speaking into my notepad and just explaining the nail process, you know? And so I've been working on this for like 2 years, consistent, like trying to get the graphics done because my drawings, let me show y'all how they came into play. So, like, there was a certain way that I explained how to do coffin shape. And so I started out with the diagrams with red, green lines and explaining the process of cutting it, step 1 through 3. And so these, I actually had these made by a graphic designer. I took my drawings from my paper and I sent it to him and he made it. So there was so many tweaks that we had to do. But I made this because I'm thinking of when I first started doing nails. I wish I had like some type of blueprint on doing a full set and like helping me expedite the process on what I need to do nails. And so that's what I made this book doing. Now, the fun part is I was just talking about Pete because now I'm addicted. Now I'm like the girls, I've been getting so much good feedback from beginner intermediate nail techs that they're ready for more. So I'm actually working on edition 2 right now.
Wow.
But edition 1 is everything a beginner needs. Like I have all the most important bits on here. And the beautiful thing is that these were from actually my line of products. And I kind of, put a pause on doing my own products. They're coming back next year, but I only will focus on the most important tools that I feel like a nail tech needs. I'll leave the powders,
Wow.
the gels, and all that to my friends, Not Polish, and to every other acrylic brand out there. I'm like, y'all can have that. I don't have any space for chemistry. I'm a teacher. So I have the most important tools that you need. And it's open for any educators who's looking for a manual to teach with. That's also who I made this book for. So it's not just for aspiring nail techs, beginner nail techs, or intermediate nail techs. It's actually also for advanced nail techs who would like to start teaching the class, but they don't know the structure or what order they should teach their students in. That's also why I made this. And yeah, it's been a beautiful process. It has.
And what can we order this book?
It's actually in the link in my bio, or go to marienails.com. MARIENAILZ.com. And you will find my website where I have my trainings, I have my book, and I also have mentorship available on there as well.
And I'm going to go ahead and leave all that information in the description for the viewers to check it out, and make sure you guys get the book. Her story is amazing, right, guys? I mean, if you loving what you guys are listening to, make sure to like, share, and make sure to leave a comment and let us know what you guys think about this podcast. I know, Maria, we can talk all day, and I know we have a lot to say, Marie. Give us one good advice that we can live by it and use it.
Ooh, this is hard.
The clock is on
There's
you.
so much advice that I have. Let's see. Let me think about this one because it has to be a juicy one.
Take your time.
Um, hmm.
That means she has a lot, guys.
I do, I do. So let me just start talking. Maybe I'll give y'all three. One of the biggest ones that I'll give y'all is never take no for an answer and roll with the punches. It doesn't matter who tells you no. Find the yes because someone else has it. That will save you so much time in business and in the nail things. If someone doesn't have the answer to a certain technique, there's someone who does. If someone doesn't have the connection to a certain something, someone else does. Roll with the punches is another. It doesn't matter how many times life beats your ass down, you got to get back up. You have to. If it's one thing that took me as far as I am now in my career, is because I've been able to roll with the punches, get beat up and tossed out the window and get right back up. It's never a moment of like I can't do this. It's none of that. It's always how to do this. Sometimes it's not about the what, it's about the who. So who haven't you met yet? And I read this amazing quote from one of my mentees. She posted it on Facebook, and she's like, if God told you that you had to fail 100 times in order to win, how fast would you try to fail 100 times? That's a big one
Wow.
because most of the things that's stopping everybody is fear, the fear of failure. I had to do so much unlearning because our K through 12 system teaches us to be scared of an F and pursue the A. But what that does to our mental is that perfection becomes the enemy of progress. And you stay stuck because you're trying to achieve perfection, but you don't know how much it's messing you up. Put your work out there. There's nothing that can go wrong. Put it out, put it out, put it out. Fail forward. If something doesn't work out, just know someone else failed too. I've failed so many times, and I don't even look at failure as a bad thing. I look at it as a learning experience. So if that's the advice I could give y'all, would be that.
Thank you so much, Marie. Wow. You just gave me the chills listening to your story, and how you gave those advice is so amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for what you do in the nail community. And thank you so much for educating us today.
Yes, no problem. I am here. I'm here for y'all. I'm a message away. I'm a call away. I'm a course away. I'm here for y'all.